Okay, so this is kind of like a cranky special alert news bulletin. It's not so much about me personally as it is about the world around us. And today there was a news story about a 57-year-old woman in Chicago's O'Hare Airport who walked in through a restricted zone, employees only, notices about danger, and this was at 2:30 in the morning that camera footage from outside in the baggage claim area saw her walk in through this door. And then at 7:30 in the morning, when some more staff got there, because this is when it finally starts getting busy enough for the employees to work there, they discovered her body inside the machines that are doing all the baggage handling and moving there. And her injuries were so severe that she was pronounced dead. Period. End of story. Now, this is a sad story, but at the same time, as I was reading about this, I thought, come on. How does this happen? And the tie in here is that this is kind of one of these things I think that makes us societally cranky. People do these kind of things, and on one hand, you feel sorry for them. It had to have been a terrible, terrible thing to happen to her. We feel sorry for her family. But come on, what are you doing in there? Why don't you read the signs? If you don't read English, I don't know, then don't go in there. Period. And it's just remarkable that somebody would violate all those, use no common sense, go in there and get hurt. Okay. Now, if that was the end of it, that'd be the end of it. But let's face it, when people get hurt like this, they are going to turn around and they are going to find some very unscrupulous lawyers who want to blame everybody else for what's going on there. Okay, now again, at this point, I could just walk away from this and say, how does this affect me? Well, let's face it, over the years, everybody in anything is subject to being sued for some sort of negligence. And it's, to protect the dumbest people from being dumb, and you can only do that so much. And costs of insurance goes up, costs of attorney fees, legal departments. It gets huge, and all that impacts me on what I am able to do in my world with the budget that I have. I'm sure prices would be less in all kinds of areas. I have a friend who's a general practitioner, and I worked for him for a few years as an office manager, so I know what the cost of his malpractice insurance was for him, for his staff. It was absolutely outrageous. Now, this is a guy working in owns a doctor's office and facility in East Hampton. And I got news for you. He barely makes it by. He is not living high off the hog in any way, shape, or form. And that chunk of money that goes to all these insurances and malpractice and what he has to worry about for being sued, it's huge. And that's a terrible thing in our world. These things do affect us on some level. And again, gosh, terrible, terrible, terrible. 57 years old and you die like this. This must have been awful. The family's not expecting it. She was probably returning from somewhere, going to see friends or family. The whole story is not clear yet. And there's going to be some very sad people about it. But the bottom line is we have got to get responsible and take on ownership of that. We have got to take it on for ourselves, and we have got to stop having these attorneys who are going to sue anybody and everybody near there, sometimes knowing that certain organizations don't have enough to pay anything, but in hopes that they'll put pressure on the organization that does have all the money. And I think that's just ridiculous. I think attorneys like that are just parasites. They're evil people. They're just in it for themselves to make money. They don't care who gets hurt in the long run. They don't care who's responsible in the long run. And, some could say, well, that's not their job. Well, you know, I got news for you. If this is your job, this is the job of an asshole. To go out and sue companies for things like this, to sue organizations for things like this. It's just ridiculous. I could have a personal story somewhere. Uh, yeah, I'm not even going to get into it because it just frustrated so much. Maybe it will be one of my cantankerous stories later on. But again, anyway, um, So this is just kind of like a commentary on that. I'm sorry it's not, nice, easy, friendly, funny one, and there's certainly really nothing funny to it. But this is where people feel affected, I think, nationwide by this kind of thing. We are affected. It makes our lives more difficult. It creates more restrictions. And we have got to stop doing this as a culture. We have got to stop dumbing down to the lowest levels. We have got to ask people, tell them, look, you need to be responsible. You need to pay attention. And if you don't, then something bad happens to you. I mean, that's just too bad. We cannot hold your hand through life. Anyway, um, okay, I don't know what else to say. I hope we don't have too many of these special alerts, but this one, just kind of fit within the whole thing of what we're doing, what people get cranky about, what I'm cranky about. And this is the kind of thing that certainly gets me in my morning coffee, gets me just a little, the blood pressure goes up a little bit, and I get a little wound up, and I start delving into bigger social issues, which, believe me, I'd rather not do. I'd rather have fun and silliness and stories and have a few laughs, but oh well, so much for that this morning. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. That is so important because it really helps this channel go further, gets more people to watch, it gets more spread out within YouTube's different analytics and algorithms for marketing. So please also leave a comment if you'd like. Let us know something you're cantankerous and crabby about, or what gets you there. It's all worthwhile reading, and if you can make it funny, make it funny. Please hit the like button that you enjoy this kind of video and this particular one, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.